How we doing, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast. Tonight we're going to be doing something. Thank you for the love, Zay. Love that shirt, man. Where do you find that shirt at?
I don't know, man. I get some specials. I'm the only one with it.
Yeah, you sitting there watching them wearing the Peanuts shirt up in here.
We are doing a music show tonight, non-sports related. If you want the sports show, my old host Jordan will be coming on with me later tonight at 10 p.m. But today it's all about the young lady in window number 4. Her first time coming to the show. Welcome to the show, Miss Burdlee Telisnor. Please tell me I pronounced that correctly.
You butchered all of it. No, it was great. It was great. It was perfect. It was a perfect pronunciation. Thank you.
Singer, songwriter. You have an acting ambition too, which you brought to my attention.
I do, yes.
Kind of got the vibe. You know, I saw one particular video that Zay shot for you, by the way, incredibly impressive because what I like about what you did is that you basically flipped 2 different sides of your personality in 2 completely different videos. I think we saw a very playful pop side that also spoke to things you may have been going through versus like a very soulful song. And I'm going to ask you a question about that too, because that sounded like that might have been at minimum maybe someone from the past or maybe just something that you thought of in the moment, but phenomenal. You know, you are a hell of a songwriter, but please introduce yourself. Let us know who you are.
Well, yeah. Well, first off, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the videos. We worked really hard on it. And so to hear all of this receptive feedback has been really, I've been really grateful to hear it. But yeah, my name is Burdlee. I am a singer, songwriter. I do a little bit of acting. I want to get back into that in my coming years, and I actually do play guitar as well. I just recently released my first EP, which is my first full project. It's called Perception. You can find it on all streaming platforms. Zay and I have 2 videos out for it right now. We have 4 singles. And I'm actually going to be doing a concert this upcoming next month, June 16th. I've got my first concert going on. So.
And that is at Abbey's, correct?
Yeah, the Abbey. It's a downtown.
The Abbey, downtown Orlando, as well as June 11th. You got to show up in Vanberries, right?
Yes, I do. That upcoming Sunday. It's gonna be fun.
All right. First question I want to ask you: musical background. Where did this all start for you? I understand that I kind of pegged you that it was kind of like just an intuition, but did you sing in, say, maybe the church as you were coming up originally? How you found a passion for music? Was it originally like, say, in the church, or you mentioned choir?
Yes, so I have been doing choir since like 7th grade. I've been singing for most of my life. I actually have these photos that I should have brought with me, but I'm not actually home. But I was a kindergartner and I got the chance to lead a solo. I sang, it's called De Colores. It was in Spanish. I sang the whole thing in Spanish. And my teacher, she had helped me. We had our whole choir back there. But that was like all the way back when I was a kindergartner. And so music has always kind of been a part of my life. 7th grade, I started taking choir, and from then on, I finished high school with it. But I never thought about like pursuing any type of music career with it. It was just kind of something that I would do as an extracurricular activity. And I love back then it wasn't songwriting. It was more so spoken word and poetry. I loved poetry. And I loved writing. All the essays that you had to write in class was one of my favorite things to do. But I never thought about combining the 2 until I had graduated high school. Because I wanted to be a psychiatrist, which looking back, I don't even know why I thought I would have done that. But junior year of high school, I did a musical. I was the lead in a musical. And then after that, I think a week after we wrapped up, I was like, that was nice. And then 2 weeks after, I was like, man, I really want to do that. So I started to pursue that career in music. But then I graduated high school and I had nothing. Like I didn't know where I was going in the fall. I didn't know what I was doing in life at all. So I kind of just used that time to start to songwrite and see where that went and start to pursue music. And then, yes, I did end up singing in the church, which had helped me with like getting over my fear of performing in front of people. Because at the time it was a mega church. So like there were tons of people for, all the Sundays that I had been up there. So that was really nice. That helped open my eyes. And then COVID hit. So there was really nothing to do, but then being surrounded, but like just in my room, my four walls. And I just started writing. And then the idea of perception came to me. And since then, I've been working on it since 2020. So to start 2020 writing my first song all the way up until now, it's just been nothing but nonstop. Just working, but also blessings, people that I've met. I think I met Zay in 2021, and me just kind of coming up to him and giving him my business card. I always talk to him about this because it's one of my first memories of him. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a songwriter or singer. And I know that when you hear that term, songwriter, singer, you know, just, yeah, they sing. But I was super ambitious. I was like, here, take my card. And he didn't even know me, but he took it and he kept it with him. And then a couple months later, we did our first video. Months after that, we did our second. Flash forward to where we are today, which is.
I got a question for you. How many languages do you speak?
I speak. It's interesting. I speak English. Yeah. I understand Creole. I can speak like the basic form of Creole, and I'm learning Spanish.
Okay, because you said you sang this song in Spanish. Like, wow. Like,
yeah.
I'm learning Spanish. That's all. Like, wow. Yeah,
oh, you're learning? Okay. How are you learning?
I listen to it. I have an app where I just listen to it while I sleep, so I hear it, and then when I wake up, I always try to teach myself a word a day. Or I try to remember what I, heard before I fell asleep. I just keep replaying it in my head, and where I live right now. Now I'm getting interviewed. Where I live right now, it's a lot of Spanish speak, a lot of Mexicans, a lot of people from Puerto Rico and everything. So I hear it all the time. So I'm trying to learn, but this is about you now. It's not turn the tables. This is about you now, okay?
I know, but honestly,
it's about you.
But yeah, I just wanted to kind of pick your brain to see that. I mean, I went back to learning Spanish just because of that, just because a bunch of people that I had surrounded myself with spoke Spanish, and we're in this country, but there's so many different languages, there's so many different cultures and different backgrounds.
Yeah.
And to better understand them can better understand or help me better myself as a writer and a storyteller to understand people's cultures and stuff. So if I can learn another language, I will do it.
Hell yeah.
Why I picked up.
Because I'll be honest, like a legitimate frustration in my family is that people will speak to me in Spanish, but I will always answer them in English. So just something like that. It's like, I'm a New Eurekan. I'm not ashamed to admit it, but it wasn't immersed. Like say maybe Zay, for instance, being from the island, it's a little different. I think that's the best way to put it. As far as Idris goes, given that he's from the South Bronx, I don't know if I could do like the whole words and sleep stuff. He might wake up and think he's still in the South Bronx. So that's just, an assumption of mine.
And my brother
Burdlee,
too, so
Yeah. So Burdlee, musical inspirations, an artist, anybody in particular that kind of just has made an impact on you inspirationally, or just somebody that maybe you want to emulate or borrow from, because it is definitely an art of imitation on certain levels, or at minimum motivation.
So great question. I have a couple of inspirations for different reasons. I would say one of my biggest inspirations, his name is John Bellion. And he does these YouTube videos that are called The Making Of, and he shows you how he makes every song. And you can just see the passion in him, just to be able to tell a story. Like I know some artists just write songs to write because they've got to push it out because they think this is going to be catchy, or they think that this is going to be that. But he takes the time and he sits down and he's very particular on what he wants, and it just comes so naturally to him. And I love that. I love being able to just sit down and just write from the heart and just be able to tell a story. And so I always think about that whenever I go into the studio with my producer. Like whenever we're getting ready to write a song, I'm like, how can I be true to myself and genuine and write, and then at the same time write a song that I know people would want to be a part of and listening to it. So he's definitely one of my biggest inspirations for that. I would also say her. She's another inspiration of mine. She's just amazing. Like she's got the glasses, the guitar. She's that girl.
Yeah.
And a part of the reason why I picked up guitar is because I can see how she does it. Like she sings, but she plays guitar, she plays piano, she plays drums. So she's just a woman of many talents. And so I'm like, yes, the singing songwriting aspect is great. Yes, the vocal parts is great, but like, what else can I bring to the table to kind of have me stand out? And so and kind of like that, I'm just listening to her style of music. And I take a lot of things from her as well. I would say those two are the biggest.
Did you teach yourself to play the guitar, or did you take formal lessons or whatever?
I took former lessons. My guitar teacher was named Caitlin Caggiano, and she was amazing. She taught me a lot of stuff, and then we weren't able to work together. So now I kind of just work self-teach, but a lot of my roots and my basics I got from her.
Word.
Now I got to piggyback that for a second with your passion for songwriting.
Mm-hmm.
Because you made mention to me that is like your top when it comes to all aspects of it. That is what you enjoy most, because you had made a mention, possibly writing for other artists before, say, your next project comes out. So this is something that's been dear to you in general, the art of storytelling, writing. That is essentially a passion of yours. But this is crazy. So it's like, I look at some of these goals and aspirations of yours, and I think in the game of life, we make adjustments. We take a step back, we take a few forward. You have aspirations of one day getting on Broadway. You did make mention you could be moving to LA. And it's just like you're busy. And I love it because you're goal driven. You have a lot of goals that you want to punch. And it's like, I think about your age. You're only 21 going on 22. A lot of people don't even have necessarily an idea what they want to do. That's busy. That's amazing, actually.
Exactly.
Thank you. Sorry. Sounded like somebody said something.
No. I was agreeing.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, she's mad. You're good.
Where did they go? Okay. It's funny too that you say that, because, and honestly, my album Perception is about this too. But when you say I'm only 21, sometimes I feel like, I'm 21, my clock is ticking. I got to figure everything out. But there's times like hearing that, I'm like, okay, you have to pause and just realize. There's so many goals, because there's, in storytelling and doing all these things, there's so many things that I can do. And I don't want to limit myself to just one thing. And I don't even want to limit myself to just my projects. If something comes along, I meet with somebody and things work out with them, I would love to help them do their thing and then see where that goes. But I'm very big, you're right, I'm very big on songwriting, just because I fell in love with, like I said, for a while, everything was different. And I did choir, and I did,
No, you
getting a little.
Even though you
Can
froze.
you guys hear me still?
Yeah, just kind of. We're gonna work through it. So you just try to talk for a minute.
Oh, okay.
You okay? You good? Keep going.
Your audio's fine. It's just you froze up, but we can still hear you.
Yeah, it's on the internet side, not the audio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then, for a while it was choir, and then it was spoken word, and I fell in love with poetry. Because it was just, choir, you're out in front of people, you can showcase yourself, but what in that room to yourself is like, that's you at your most vulnerable point. And so that's why I'm so true,
Zay, you think I should send her out, bring her back in, see if we can maybe rehash this?
Yeah, bring her back.
Yeah,
I'm gonna bring
that Spectrum internet connection.
Spectrum. I had to get rid of them.
You gotta go
Burdlee. Burdlee, okay. I'm gonna kick you. You come on right back.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we'll ask Zay, what was the concept of the video Nothing Left? Or what, in fact, what I want to ask is how do you guys get together to put the video together? Like, who writes the video? It's just stuff like that. Like, what are the insides about it?
Well, I mean, Nothing Left. She had came to me with an idea. With I believe her name is Dua Lipa. Is an artist, and she pretty much showed me some examples of what she wanted her video to look like, and we just kind of hit the pretty much started putting together some ideas with my partner Robin, and also just Burdlee as well. We came together as a collective and just kind of like, you know, with her vision and what she saw for the video, just came together as a collective and put together some ideas. And we just wanted to make the video kind of like a continuous flow to it. That's why there's like a lot going on, like you know, people walking through shots, a lot of choreography, and really had to do with a lot of the ideas and vision that Burd originally had seen for the song. So honestly, just listening to her and seeing her vision for it, and all of us coming together and just working on together, it was like very easy to come together and come up with the video concept.
How long did it take to actually shoot the entire thing?
I'm not gonna lie, honestly, that was my first full production project.
Yeah.
And I really didn't know what to expect coming into that video. But I mean, we literally, I believe, started at 12 afternoon, and we were maybe done at like 11 at night, maybe even.
You started all in one day.
Yeah, it was a whole day thing. Honestly, videos like that, you know, with bigger budgets and stuff, you would think it would take a couple days to shoot. But we actually were able to shoot that entire video in one day.
That's what's up. We're talking about the Nothing Left video, Burd.
Right.
That video right there, man, that was solid.
I like the transition from room to room. I thought that was cool. How the video ended where the video started.
Yeah.
But it gave me like kind of like, it goes without saying, the pop vibe, but it also kind of gave me an 80s vibe that you don't see a lot in videos anymore, which I appreciate. Yeah, because it didn't look like everything else, and I think that is important when you're an artist and you try to stand
real. It was just real raw. Like, it was on point. That
believable. I think believable is the. I think believable is the best way to put it, because I know Burd a little. I'm getting to know her more. So but seeing the video and knowing the person on the level, I'm like, yo, this is like incredibly believable.
Yeah, and
I think it's important because that's how you connect with people, because believable and people got to be able to relate. So I was like, yo, this is cool. Even with the popcorn, the movie room, I was like, yo, this is cool.
Honestly, that was kind of like an improvised scene. We didn't even have that planned up at all. It started actually raining towards the end of the night, and we were supposed to do something different outside. But we seen the room, and as soon as we seen the room, we were like, okay, we can do something here. And honestly, that's
kind of genius, bro.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of genius, because if you didn't tell me that it wasn't planned, I wouldn't have thought so.
Yeah.
The comment I wouldn't have, I'm glad you're back, Burdlee. The comment I had is you being of Haitian descent. It's good that you're doing pop. Like I was telling Richie off air, like I'm half Jamaican, and usually people from the islands, they had this perception of us as just doing reggae, reggae to stuff like that, to where you don't really see Haitians or Jamaicans, whatever, doing pop music. And if they are, they don't let it be known that they're Haitian or Jamaican or from the Cayman. They don't say anything. And with you're doing pop. It's like, hell yeah, you're outside the box. It kills that stereotype, because I can't say enough. And y'all forgive my French. Your music is the shit. Your music is like damn. I was like, yo.
No, for real, because like I know Zay, because Zay'll tell me some funny stories or maybe a few experiences here and there. And it's like Burd cracked me up in the beginning, but she's like, oh, I kind of met him. And I dropped on the business card. I actually got her business card on my fridge. Yeah. And I'm like, well, Zay's a very honest dude. I was like, because he flat out would whisper at me, like maybe an experience he had. Like, yo, that dude ain't no rapper. That ain't no rapper, Like he's not gonna sugarcoat it, you know what I'm saying? So like, but yeah, like I remember we ran around one night. He let me get a bit of some of the stuff he hadn't put out yet. I was like, oh, this shit is fire.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Like I was saying, like when we was on the show last year with Zay, your name kept coming up, and I was like, who is this chick? Because I think Zay mentioned it, and then Richie was like, who is this chick y'all keep talking? And I was like looking up the word Burd, like BIRD. I'm like, no, that's not.
Yeah, you probably found something like on Nat Geo or something.
Yeah, I'm looking all over YouTube for it. I'm like, who is this chick?
But to piggyback off of Idris's thing, what does that mean to you, though? Essentially, to piggyback off his point, there are no like really known Haitian pop stars when you really think about it, particularly here in the 50 states. Like on the level of however you want to really answer it, what does that mean to you? You know, the potential of being,
I'm glad that you mentioned that, because that is exactly why I do what I do and why I'm specifically like advertising myself as a pop artist, because I feel like whenever they say that, like if I were to say I was a singer, and it's funny too, because whenever I tell people that I sing, their first instinct is like, oh yeah, you do R&B. And I'm like, no.
Right.
Yeah. Naturally. Oh, you gotta be R&B. Gotta be.
Gotta be. And it's not that there's nothing wrong with R&B, but I look at the Black women especially that are in the music industry, and while everything that they do is great, I can't I'm not gonna say anything like that, but there has to be some variety in the Black like artists that are out there right now, and I want so desperately to be a part of that group that breaks the mold and kind of says, listen, yes, I'm a Black woman, I'm a Haitian Black woman, but that doesn't mean that my style of music is going to be reggae or R&B. That doesn't mean I'm going to get on stage and dress a certain type of way and write music and talk about a certain type of thing. Like, I want to open this up and kind of like broaden your horizons, you know what I mean? Like, we can have, I'm not Taylor Swift, but there can be Black Taylor Swifts here too. Like, it doesn't have to necessarily be white. And so the fact that you notice a lot to me.
And, even to come full circle with it, like down the road, possibly career move, you could do a collaboration with someone maybe that would do something that wasn't necessarily what you were trying to pitch. Next thing you know, you're expanding it. I mean, Lenny Kravitz did a track with Jay-Z, like you never know where it could all take you, because a lot of it is circular on a lot of levels.
You know what? And I'm glad you mentioned Lenny Kravitz, because I see her the same way. Because when Lenny Kravitz came around, people looked at him like, wait a minute, this guy's Black.
Yeah, can't be a rock star. Can't be
a rock star. But
right.
And with your rise, the same way, here you are pop, they may say the same thing, but once they hear your voice and see what you do, they're like, okay, hold up, And like I said, I'm proud of you. You are pop, because like you said, me and Richie and a lot of us talk about this, how there's no variety in the music. Everything sounds the same. Everyone's doing the same thing. And we need a breath of fresh air, especially as young as you are. And don't think you're old, because you're not old. You got a lot of years ahead of you. So
plenty of time. Plenty of time.
You got plenty of time. It's good that you are coming up and making this rise as a pop star, because we need that right now. We really don't have, especially when it comes to Black women. We don't have that anymore. Everyone's doing the same thing. Take your clothes off. Do this. Talk about that. We need someone who's actually representing music. You know what I mean? And you got, like you said, her one of your inspirations. She's mad talented. One of my favorites. And you playing an instrument and you writing your own lyrics, which a lot of people don't write their lyrics. So that's saying right there, you're doing things from the heart.
And you're also taking a direct ownership of what you're putting out.
Right. So
that's important.
I'm not trying to, brush your shoulder up or jump on your back like, yeah, let me soup her head up. I'm just keeping it, because I'm a DJ and I love good music. And like I said, when I heard your song, saw your video, I was like, it's freaking music right here. It's actual music. I ain't trying to put you to the side, Zay, because I know you're part of the biz too, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
no, we gotta give this girl some props, you know what I mean?
No, for sure. She definitely deserves all the props.
And you got a shirt anyway, so you know.
Yeah. and even with the other video, what you've done to me. And this is like a vast contrast off of Nothing Left, because I'm not gonna lie to you, Burd. Like within 90 seconds, I was like, yo, who did her dirty? Who pissed her off? Right. Because I did question. I was like, is this like kind of directed at maybe like a lost love or something like that, or like an ex, or either way, feeding into just like a genre that needs to hear stuff like that. I was like, yeah, that was because it was a completely different environment. You got the darkness. You were wearing essentially the right color dress for the darkness in the background. It kind of had like the almost like the empty arena feel. So even like, you mentioned the pandemic, like that was kind of dope too. Because like, I'm just saying hypothetically, I'm like, yo, if this dropped during the pandemic, that would have been something too. But I guess what's the inspiration on that, or what was like the motivation behind what you were expressing on that one? I think it's the question I'm trying to ask.
To mention what Idris said earlier, I am Haitian, and I don't know if you know like Caribbean parents, but like they only want their kids to be three things, and that is a doctor, a lawyer, and an engineer. So I think earlier in the podcast I said that I was going to be a psychiatrist. That was more so for like they're doing and stuff. And so then when I came up to my parents, loved them to death. But when I came up to them and I was like, so I'm going to be a singer, that did not go well as you would expect in a Caribbean household. And so like, going through that and having to deal with that was not fun. But I did learn a lot about myself in the process. And then when you look at perception as a whole, you start out with reflections, me talking about how I've been building this person that I don't even know who I am, to the point where we get to what you've done. And I have to recognize that a lot of the reasons why I was lost in the past is because I had been taking advice and listening to what somebody else wanted from me rather than what I wanted from myself. And so now I'm kind of at that point where I'm like, I can't keep living your life for you. Like I have to live my own life. And so that's what I wrote What You've Done about. But I wanted to write it in a way, like I said, really big on storytelling. I wanted to write it in a way that people would be receptive to. I didn't just want to write it in a way that it was just like, oh, she's talking about her parents. Like I wanted to kind of write it to anybody who's ever felt like that, like somebody has made them feel like they weren't enough, or made them feel like they weren't doing the right stuff just because they wanted them to live their lives through them. So that's kind of where it came from. A lot of people asked me if it was a relationship, and I was like, oh yeah, because nobody ever wants to like.
That was the vibe we got though.
Yeah, I was like, let's fast forward this 15 years, and they're gonna like dive into it when Behind the Music continues. Yeah, but they're gonna be like, I'm like, who is this Mark? I was like, who is this Mark?
But you know, parents, because see, I was gonna be a doctor myself. I wound up being an EMT, but I was like, man, I love music too much.
That's a lot of school too, bro. That's a lot of school.
Yeah, I guess like I can't do it no more. I want to be a DJ. I want to play music. You know, that's why this is the route I took. Yeah.
You also mentioned acting, Burdlee, so I do want to ask you this. Do you have a particular favorite actor, or just maybe? Yeah, I know you mentioned Broadway, so any and all actors that have had an inspiration, impact, things of that nature.
Well, for starters, favorite actor of all time, Viola Davis. That woman is amazing. I aspire to be her. I think she just recently became an EGOT winner, and that's where I want to. When we said flash forward 15 years, if I'm doing that interview, it better be like EGOT right above the title, just because she's just phenomenal. You can tell she's just so passionate about the things she says, and she's so particular, and like what she wants to convey, she says it so perfectly, no matter what role it is that she plays. So she's one of my favorites for sure. And then heading into Broadway, more so my favorite Broadway writer or favorite person that has done Broadway, I would say, is Lin-Manuel Miranda. And his most recent work that he's known for is Hamilton. But like he started off, it was like about the founding father, and it's a rap musical. And he kind of started off writing it as like a concept album. And everybody he would kind of tell it to laughed at him, because there's like a rap album about a founding father from the government. Like that didn't really work, but it has won so many different Tonys. I think he won an Emmy for it as well, some Grammys. Like that is an award-winning show. And just to see how he had kind of went from people telling him no, telling him that this would never work, and just honestly the people that he got on board too. Leslie Odom Jr. was another one of my Broadway favorites. He had walked away from a $500,000 project to do Hamilton, not knowing where it would go. And then it just blew up the way that it did. So I would say he's another one. But I honestly didn't even think about it until I was talking. But my favorite Broadway, like girl I look up to, her name is Cynthia Erivo. She did The Color Purple.
Yes.
She's just one of the best singers I have ever heard in my life. That woman can sing anything. And then just the passion behind her, but not only the passion, but the talent that she has. Like if I were to do something on Broadway, that would definitely be something that I'd be, just any role that she was in, or just a chance to work with her in real life, it just would be amazing for me.
I got a question for you. It gets back to playing instruments. Do you write music like with your guitar, or are you one who plays by ear, or how do you how do you? You say you play. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry, you froze up a little there. Would you mind repeating the question?
I was asking, like, you say you play guitar, right? Do you write music, or do you just basically play by ear and just I don't know how to ask it.
I guess what he's saying is like okay.
I think I understand. You're asking like how to.
Please don't call me sir.
Guitar?
Make me feel old. Nah, I'm just messing with you, man. Go ahead.
Well, yeah. I do write with guitar for some songs, not every song. Sometimes the lyrics will come first, but sometimes I'll just be playing. Like when I said I wrote Reflections, it was me at a very low point in my life, and it was just me on my bed because I didn't have the strength to get up. And I just had music, and I was just playing my guitar, and then that little picking pattern that came to me. That was Reflections, and then I ended up just strumming along to it, and then that kind of turned into the song that it is. That it started out to be the first drafts of Reflections. And so, yeah, I do use guitar. It helps me for songwriting. It doesn't always. I don't use it for every song. Like that's not. I don't think I have like a method, like one method, because every song is different for me. But that is definitely guitar has definitely helped me put out a lot of bangers, as they say. So very happy with that.
I'm a fan of his, talking about Zay. I'm a fan of yours. I'm curious, do you think that down the road we might be able to look forward to maybe you guys both honing in on your musical expertise to maybe do a collaboration down the road?
I mean, just depending on how much you're gonna charge me, we might be able to do something. No, but honestly, me and Burd, we have talked about collaborating, doing music. I've just been kind of on like a different journey at the moment, and that hasn't really been like I haven't really had my heart in that right now. So once I get put my heart back into it and just find that motivation to get back into the studio and make music, Burdlee would definitely be one of the first people I reach out to collaborate with, for sure.
Word, that's what's up.
That's something to look forward to.
No doubt.
Bro, I remember, man, when
I'm gonna charge him at least.
How much?
Sorry, I said I was just trying.
No, because I remember, man.
I'm sorry. I just said I was gonna anything.
Oh, okay.
I think it would be good, and I'm not just saying that to say it. I do think that the contrast could definitely work.
Yeah.
So you approached Zay. We know that part, right? You approached Zay in terms of, letting him know what you were about, right? Mm-hmm. Would that be a correct statement?
Yeah.
Heard that. Yes. Idris, anything else you want to ask Burd?
I had a question.
Okay.
Yeah, I got one. If you had to choose a person to collab with, someone who's well established, other than her, because we already know about her. Yes. Someone who knocked on your door and said, I want to do something with you. Who would that person be if they knocked on your door? I
like what he's doing, man. He's trying to be like,
I see what Zay doing. I know. Other than Zay and her. If someone knocked on your door right now and said, hey.
Obviously, Zay for sure.
Other than Zay.
Right.
Any artist.
Hello? I don't know if I'm frozen or not. I'm sorry.
Just keep talking, girl. You okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, it's just, what Zay said, the spectrum. But for sure, if Zay knocked on my door, I would answer. I'm trying to think of who else. Who's another person that I think I would really want to work with? That is a good question. I have to think for a second. Oh my God.
It's all good. It's all good. I know
Good, bro. We got time.
Well, I mean, obviously, obviously, if Beyonce knocked on my door tonight and was like, "Do a song with me," I would say yes. But
yeah, if you said no, there would be something wrong with you.
Yeah, you said no. We had to think. We had to. Oh, let's go get this girl checked out. Something's wrong with her.
Yeah, there's something ain't right. For sure.
That's what's up, man.
But I like what Idris did there. He kind of like passively said, because he's right there. She better he's coming in like this. Yeah. And then I'm over here like iPhone notes, sensei inspirational message at show's conclusion.
I got one more question for you. What inspired you to do pop music rather than anything else?
What inspired me to do pop?
Yeah.
I honestly just think that is another one. I don't know. I mean, I don't really know that we can kind of pick and choose. I think it was kind of just what worked the best for me. I'd done a lot of different songs. I practiced a lot, but ultimately I kind of came back to that. I remember the first time I realized that I actually did want to start marketing myself as a pop artist was when we did Nothing Left in the studio. There's a whole story of how I ended up writing it. But I went to New York with my friend, like I'm going to say probably a week before I wrote Nothing Left. And we were there for a week. But I remember the minute we landed in New York, I was immediately sad because all I could think about was like in a week we were going to go home. And so getting back into the studio with my producer, I sat and I told him about that. And we had talked about like wanting to write a song about enjoying the moment instead of thinking about what comes next. And I didn't want to tell that in like a sad way. I wanted it to kind of be like a fun, upbeat way because I love. I think one of my favorite things about songs is when you listen to it and you enjoy it just because it's good music. And then one day you sit and you listen to it and you actually hear the lyrics. And I wanted to do something like that. And so for me to kind of do that to the point where it wasn't like directly not as happy lyrics with a not as happy track, I wanted to kind of be like, oh, let me do an upbeat vibe. And then we did Nothing Left. And I was like, as soon as we played it, I don't know if I sent it to Zay or not, but I was like, this song right here. And so kind of wanting to build off of that and then head with the momentum with Aftermath and what you've done. I think the vibe was kind of just like, okay, we had this upbeat vibe that we both tried and we both like it. So let's just build off of that and see where it goes. And so I think working in the studio definitely helped me kind of go like, okay, this is definitely what I want to do. So
one thing I got to say, and from what I've seen from you thus far, it's like you, in addition to being a good songwriter, you're a hell of a storyteller. And I've kind of picked up on that from a couple of your videos already. And I just want to say, keep it up because like I said, originality in the music business, it's lacking. It's becoming a smaller and smaller lane. And you have that. And I think if I requote myself, I said, you're in control of what you're trying to put out. And I guess as a friend and somebody who's interested in your success, just continue to always stay true to yourself and you're going to continue to make magic. I think that's the best message as a friend that I could send to you. And I would say the same thing to Zay if you ever care to talk to me about that, because I was fired up, man. When he dropped Living Legend, I was like all fired up. I had to call him from work. I didn't even go through security. I was like a few minutes late and I didn't care because I had to talk to him about it. Yeah. But, truth be told, Burd, you got a beautiful future in front of you. And I just want to say to you that, just keep it up and continue to grind at your dream or multiple dreams, actually, if we're going to break it. And we have a lot to look forward to as listeners. And you have a lot to look forward to as someone who's going to be stepping into a lot of new projects.
Yeah, I say the same thing. I like to see you make it pop, but I would really like to see you on Broadway. Because you make it on Broadway. Broadway is like, that's like a, what you call it when doctors goes.
That's like a next level life gig, like Broadway and
your life,
and you become a big part of one of those shows. That's like
you can
next
still
level
do music, but at least you know that's your life. You're gonna be there. That's like your bread and butter. So I like to see you on Broadway for real. So that's it right there. A lot of great artists musically, they've come off Broadway. Even Denzel Washington did Broadway. A lot of people did Broadway. And
no, that's a fact. A lot of people don't know that about Denzel, but yeah, that you'd be surprised some of the names that you would see. Yeah.
Yeah. So
for some people it's a start point. For some people it's like an end point.
Yeah.
But you know, like I said, even with like the acting aspirations, you know, that there's a lot of lanes with that, and you know.
Yeah.
Just don't do one of them Hallmark movies. Don't do that to me, all right? Don't do that.
No, still for Lifetime.
Yeah, don't do that, all right? I mean, if they're paying right, you know, do that.
If they pay you good money, yeah, but try to avoid Lifetime.
Oh, well, no, yeah, no Hallmark, no Lifetime. No, but yes, thank you. And Broadway, like I said, was my first love. So if I could go back and get the proper training and just be able to do that, that would be a dream come true. But after I switched to writing music and kind of doing this that I wasn't right now because it just didn't seem like it was time for me to do the Broadway scene yet, or at least try to do the musical theater scene. I remember auditioning to schools right when I was graduating high school, and I got rejected a lot. So I was like, okay, well, am I talented or what? Because every time I auditioned for something, it was always like, no. And so I had to change my perspective, which is what honestly this whole couple of years has been on it, and been like, well, maybe if that's something that is for me, it'll come down the line, but it's not right now. So I need to focus on something I can do right now that I can still find joy in. And so that's what kind of led me to writing and doing songwriting and making music.
I do want to ask you this.
For sure.
You made a mention that in LA, you're going to be performing at the Writer's Block Showcase. Can you kind of elaborate on what that's about?
Yes, so I submitted for this venue. It's at a venue called the Hotel Cafe. They're called the Writer's Block, and they reached out to me and they were like, hey, we would like you to perform here. And so that's going to be coming up, I want to say Thursday, July 6th. And so I'll be up there that whole week. I wanted to perform at an open mic, and then everything was kind of going to be leading towards that performance. And I'm super excited. All of my LA friends who have moved out, a lot of them were in our Nothing Left music video. They've since moved out to become actors and like kind of pursue their dreams on a bigger scale. They'll be there too, and I'll get to see them as well. But just also establishing myself as an artist in LA, because I love Orlando, but I want to get to a point where I can work with people like, you know, everybody goes to LA to make their dreams come true. And so that's a lot of, some people would say competition, but I also see a lot of collaborations there. And so just getting a chance to establish myself as an artist there and seeing people that are about the same thing that I am so that we can all work together. And hopefully when I'm ready to drop that second project, like just having some people to work with. But I'm super excited for it. I'm taking my drummer with me, and we'll hopefully just have a great time. I'm looking forward to it.
That's awesome, Burd.
Yeah.
That truly is.
Yeah.
Everybody, before we get out of here, this is where you can catch Burd out here in O-Town, June 11th, performing at Vanberry's, at June 16th at the Abbey, 6 to 10 p.m. Burd, it was a pleasure having you. I really appreciate you making a stop by to the show. You are always welcome to come back whenever. Zay already knows. I was hoping that we could have incorporated the LA Lakers into a finals quick prediction. That didn't happen. It's okay, bro. It's okay. It's okay. You guys got further than our team. But seriously,
we get swept though.
Yeah, you already know that. Yeah, it wasn't pretty. It is what it is. We're gonna leave him alone tonight with that. But for Zay, for Miss Burdlee, for my guy, Mr. Idris Salam, I appreciate everyone watching, and we will be back at 10 p.m. with Jordan and Zappy for an NBA Finals preview as well as the happenings in MLB.
And I might
so next time, you might pull up too.
Just make sure, Perception EP is on all streaming platforms. Make sure if you haven't heard it, you go check it out. Also, Burd has merchandise available for sale. What's the website?
It's Burdlee.com.
Burdlee.com. So make sure you support Burd, get you some merchandise, support June 16 at the Abbey. It's going to be her
I do have one thing, Richie.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think one of my biggest goals in life is to have that same t-shirt that Zay has. So if you could just send that to me, please.
Nothing for me. No, hold on, Rich. We got to talk about this.
I gotta make sure I send one out to Carolina because if he sees you like before, then I'm gonna have some smoke with this guy.
I'm gonna drive down there when I go
because I can kind of fly out and I'll be like, yo, bro, I work with him. I see him every day. But like,
I see one more Richie Hicks Jr. podcast shirt on somebody's body other than mine. I'll call him Biden. We're gonna get you out of here.
He might not remember what you told him, but that's another conversation for another day. Yeah. For Mr. Zay, for Burdlee, for my guy Idris, thank you so much for watching. I'll be back in a couple hours.
All right, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.